like to talk about Hudson and his abandonment issues. So it's been very formative, I think, for him and for us as a family. Definitely trickled down to Harlow. The fact, his dependence issues. So Hudson was, and people have different beliefs about this, but I'm going to bottle it up for us, is that Hudson, we think, was in the belly too long. We think they got the date wrong. He came out 9 pounds, 11 ounces. They were expecting a 7-pound baby or something like that. We think they're, like, I know it sounds crazy, but almost a whole month off their date. His delivery was, which is very common to hear with first babies, but violent. And his was no different. They were pulling out this thing called the stool, I guess, which is supposed to spread and crack the pelvis open. They were minutes away from doing that with Amanda. He had a rough, long birth. And then when we got to the phase of Thunderdome, 4 months in, whatever it was, and the sleep wasn't getting any better, and he cried constantly. The longest he slept for the first 4 seasons was 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes. The only way he would sleep with me for those 30 minutes was if I was actively running and holding him. So in our 800 square foot home, I was running back and forth at 3 a.m. with him. And Amanda's, that's not even a sob story. Amanda's story was way worse. The long and short of it is, we got to the phase where we're like, okay, let's try and sleep train him. And we didn't want to do the cry it out method, but we got desperate enough and we got there. And then there was a day where we put him down, and how many hours? Were we in the garage room with him in the other room?
Yeah, it was all night. So it was the first night of our, like, gentle sleep training. I don't remember. It was like baby whisper, some gentle technique where you, like, you know, you put the baby down like the book says, and he has his little sleep sack, the weighted sleep sack, and you let him cry for whatever, 1 minute, and then you go back in. You don't turn on the light, you don't pick him up, you put your hand down, and you just keep doing that. And
for a long time.
We didn't turn on a single light. We didn't pick him up. And we actually turned on the light the next morning when it was, like, the appropriate time. And he had pooped himself and vomited. And it was traumatizing.
He did non-stop crying for, I think it was 4 hours. Was it 4 hours?
I don't remember.
It was not the normal. And when we told other families about it, they're like, no, that was not how it happened with our child.
So we kept with it for a few months, and just was not a fit for us. And it was awful. It was so awful.
Yeah, so we started to try to align and figure out our child for us, because that method just, he wasn't taking to it, and it just was endless crying, no matter how steadfast we tried to go to these programs. So we're like, okay, this is not for him. And so we changed our mindset and said, we're sleeping with our children, because this is the only way that
we get somewhat sleep.
And it was somewhat of a survival mechanism, because 30 minutes is better than 0 with a violently crying child who's vomiting on himself and worrying about airway issues and all this other just next level stuff. And if you haven't had a child yet, when your child screams, it's like a genetic response in your brain. It's like the most painful sound you've ever heard. I don't know if it's like that for everyone else, but that's how it is for me. Maybe it's because of fire job, I don't know, but it's like a genetic response. And that changed the whole course for our family. Just that alone. How you sleep, how that cycle works, the quality of your sleep, and then the connection with the child, I think, is different. And in our opinion, a lot of people have different opinions about this. In our opinion, he needed it. And I think he's getting to the tail end where he's getting out of it. But there was like a good couple years there where we're like, his dependency, this is just, it sounds excessive, it feels excessive, it almost feels like we're spoiling our child. But can you really spoil a 1 or 2 year old with affection and physical touch? We went went the route of no, you cannot. And we dove in, and we're on the other side. So if anyone goes through that battle, please reach out to us.
He finally sleeps in his own bed next to us. So it's still not, ideal or perfect, but I don't know what is ideal and perfect. It's perfect for us. I'm getting more sleep. He feels safe, and I just think we haven't created bad habits around sleep. Most people end up with a partner sleeping with someone. So, him sleeping with us for a few years when he is a baby and toddler are no different from finding your partner and sleeping with them for 50 years of your life. He had an incredibly challenging sleep journey, and thankfully Harlow wasn't as tough, but he definitely had major abandonment, and we do question if part of it was trying that sleep training for a few months, because it was just horrific on the other side of it. It was immediate though. His need for physical touch. I mean, I wore him 23 hours a day. So it wasn't like a new thing when we started sleep training that he needed more physical touch. He already demanded it from birth. And I think it's interesting that one of my love languages is physical touch, and he's like, give it all